So, John, two things before we get this whole thing started.
Yes, sir.
Two things I'm going to share. One, since we tend to share some always trying to share interesting things in our community, did you notice that as of right now, Twitch/Amazon is giving away a lot of very interesting games if you are an Amazon Prime member? Did you know this?
Yes, I've been seeing lately we do have a section in our Discord that shares free games, and I've been picking them up one by one. So yes, I have. did notice.
There we go. So
it sounds like non-Steam launcher stuff to me. And I don't know if I like it.
See, and because he's here, he's a guest today, so we'll allow a little bit of the the slander, if you will.
Well, him, because he is our guest, I will give him credit. I did say I was grabbing them. I didn't say I was going to play them. So go ahead.
Well. Let us be clear as we set the standard here on the Gamers Playground. Games that are free 99 are for everyone. Doesn't matter what damn launcher they're from.
I agree.
They are available and playable by all. And you, as a smart consumer, should do yourself a favor and not pay the 30 or $60 some of these costs and just pick them up. Now, what am I talking about? I'm talking about Borderlands 2. Yeah, it's an older title. Maybe you've played Borderlands. That's fine. I'm talking about the definitive edition, the remake of Tomb Raider. Really awesome game. I'm talking about the most underrated game, I think, of the bunch, which is Tales from the Borderlands, which is my favorite Borderlands, bar none. You are my favorite one, among others. There's just a whole bunch. Now, if you happen to be the launcher troglodyte that some of us are, and it's got to be on Steam, otherwise you don't care about it. Hey, you do you. Go spend your frivolous money and all of that when this is all free available to you.
Wait, did Xbox give them Amazon Indiana Jones as well, or?
Well, no, that's the old Indiana Jones. You
need
okay. I would just like
okay.
I just like to say this.
Now, before you say this, recognize that your website is the next link I show. So choose your words very carefully.
Yes, you guys may be smart consumers, but I like to consider myself a little bit of a philosopher.
Okay.
Now,
okay.
If a tree falls in a forest and no one is around to hear it, does it make a sound?
Of course it does. We live in a world of technology that you could put sound activators
around to.
No, it's not. It's a device. It's a device. It's not a person. Continue.
Now the question is, is hoarding a digital free game worth anything if you were never going to play that game to begin with?
Already played,
right?
Well, to be clear here. To be clear, this is for those who who are new to the ROG Ally, who are new to any of these myriad of handhelds, and may not have a library that they can rely on and play and do all that. There are lots of games that release here that are worth your time if you haven't played it already.
I don't disagree. I just think there's a lot of I had no interest in playing this, but it's free, so I'm going to download it so I can go back to not playing it.
Everborn, remember that? remember that me and you are console migrants, so a lot of us are restarting our library. So this is a good way to go.
This is a great way to do that, so you don't have to go rebuying everything, Mr. Frivolous Purchase Saga. Some people don't like to rebuy things, and here you go. Midnight Fight Express joins your library, a great game that you don't have to buy again.
That was a good game. Hey, Trek to Yomi.
Gravity Circuit joins your library without having to buy it again. A game that even you, Mr. Everborn Saga, have said is a really great.
I just bought that.
You see, Frivolous Purchase Saga.
But again, I'm only saying, I'm not. If I didn't have any plans, come on now. If I didn't have any plans on playing the game, it does no good to me that it's free because I didn't have time to play it in the beginning. That's the only point I'm making. But that's not every game here.
This all hinges on the fact that some of these games are actually worth replaying. You know, many of them you may have missed your backlog, or you may have left it in a backlog on a platform that you may no longer be playing or whatever. A lot of these are relatively decent games you should check out in between the other stuff that are coming out. So our guest slander notwithstanding, good options for you to check out. And speaking of our guest and his slander, Another website we'll point you to right from jump with 116 people watching. Salute to all of y'all. Thank y'all for being here. Is the Everborn Saga Kickstarter. Now, the question is, and again, we'll use those philosophers. If a back this project button is clicked and no one's there to hear it, does it make a sound?
That's a good question. Like, can we get some clicks on the back this project?
But yes. Mr. Everborn Saga, welcome, sir. Before we even get started with all of the fun and games we will start with, right off the top, let the 122 people in here know what they can do to help you forward this project.
Well, okay, so I'll do this while I show you guys something, because we're testing out some new technology here, because you and I have something planned for later for the audience that we may have to show them tomorrow. So why don't I go ahead and add this to the stream?
Oh, look at that. There he is. You know what? We can even add this. We can add this to the main stage for now. There you go. Go ahead.
Look at this. So
it's all yours.
These are some of the Everborn books that we released. Now, this is our newest chapter that we're releasing. Well, not this one. This is our last chapter that we released. But Ariel's Adventure Chapter 2 is the newest chapter that we're releasing. And we are more than 66% funded.
Nice.
And we've got 21 days to go. And this is a very exciting project because it's probably the largest individual chapter we've ever done. The art has leveled way up, and I can show you just like, so the idea is that we're leveling up from here, which you guys can get an idea of some of the quality we got going on here.
Which, for the record, I didn't think it required leveling up when I last read the book, which I need to go back and reread.
Wait till you see the new one.
Yeah.
Right.
Looking good.
And right, we're launching the new hardcover as a part of this campaign. We're launching the new hardcover for Prince of Arcadia Ultimate Edition, book 2. So this includes chapters 3 and 4. And there is, you see some of this artwork, what I'm talking about. There's a bunch of bonus content in here that kind of gives you a little bit of backstory on a lot of the new characters that we introduced in this book.
Everborn, the chat wants to know, is this running on Pisser technology?
Oh, Lord.
No, this is running on DLSS.
Oh, okay, good. All right.
The good stuff.
Yeah, the good stuff. There you go. Okay.
So,
what's he? Hargeet Chani says there's another one that's going to come out after the Pisser called the Crapper.
Oh man.
Oh wow.
Oh man. Okay, so now this is another thing that's really important. What's another reason you should back this campaign? We actually are we're giving the opportunity so that you can actually be a character in the Everborn universe that we're creating. So this here is you may know him from the community, Gamer MD. This is his character. So he backed the Redlands campaign, and he's got his own character.
That is so
He
cool.
will show up in a future chapter. And then if you see here, these are also people who have now made it into chapter 2. So this is actually Pixelbit G, if you know him.
Yep.
And we've got Ken, Mari, Christoph. So it doesn't have to be you if it doesn't want to. You can just help us design the character, because we include you in the design process. But you do get a substantial role. So
he's gonna have to be in one of these chapters soon, man.
Hey,
this is what I'm saying. So we're doing big things. This is Everborn. If you don't know what it is, it's basically what we like to call Lord of the Rings meets X-Men. It is one story told across 2 different timelines and following 3 different series following a different character, telling the story from their vantage point. So it's Western fantasy, it's shonen style manga. And each of these series, these are the 3 series we've launched so far: the Redlands, Prince of Arcadia, and Ariel's Adventure. Each of these series is its own subgenre. So Prince of Arcadia is more of a Game of Thrones style of storytelling. The Redlands is kind of a heist genre. They're all taking place in the same world, and there's crossover, kind of like the MCU or whatever. And Ariel's Adventure is really kind of a fun power fantasy sort of level up shonen style. Lots of fights, lots of fun there. So whatever genre you're into, we try to sort of cater to that. So if we go back to the Kickstarter. All right, yeah. So we've got 42 backers. We've got 21 days to go. We've done this twice before, and both times we were selected by Kickstarter under projects we love. And Kay, do you want to play the first animation? So we'll just play until.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So full screen it from here so they can see when things go great. So we're also offering a lot of like that shirt that I'm wearing there, the shirt I'm wearing now, the one you see in the background. We're also offering this wall art and these things as add-ons, so you can get those. And now you can see some of the artwork. This is just showing off some of the series that we've launched so far. And you're going to see a little bit of the book now. So check it out.
Yeah, and Everborn, I just want to say, for anybody listening, obviously Everborn and Kay Asante put on a great show every week on the Gaming Circle podcast, guys. And you guys know me and Kay here on Gamers Playground. But back this project up for Everborn, man. Make this man's hard work really pay off, because he's out here grinding and pushing his brand, and let's show that support, guys, because as you can see, the quality is there, and definitely this project definitely deserves a W, guys. So let's back it up, guys.
Thank you. I appreciate that, man.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, 72 pages, biggest individual book we've ever done. That right there is a character. These are characters that back the campaign. So like I said, you can become a character, a very powerful character, if you check it out. And now that we've done all this, please check the campaign out. I want to get it over the line, and we're trying to take this thing to Hollywood. It's all independently owned. And we're just doing it one step at a time. And the book's already done. This is more of an awareness and launch campaign to get it out the door. And if you are you're going to be at New York Comic Con this year, Everborn will be at booth 2039, and you can actually pick up your book and get it signed right there at the show. So unlike a lot of other Kickstarter campaigns where you got to wait a little while, this book will be done immediately following the Kickstarter campaign. So that's it. We can get to the tech and game talk now.
Excellent. No, I hope more people look to fund this. It's an excellent idea. It's really cool that you put it together, and I love to see the growth, man. I think there's a lot of growth to be seen here. So hopefully we get to a point where we definitely get more folks backing it. We want to make this thing funded as soon as possible. We want to see this thing hit the heights that it deserves to hit. So once again, I will put the link in the chat, ladies and gentlemen.
Absolutely.
If you have not checked it out, it is there. It is by each and every one of us. Click on the link of the individual you like. John Wolf put it out there. Everborn put it out there, and I put it out because you can just click one button and it all.
There you go. That's how you do it.
This is Ariel's Adventure Chapter 1. We're releasing Chapter 2.
Yep. And unlike other companies, Everborn is actually including a disk drive and a stand, but we'll get to that soon.
Oh, Lord help us.
And I'm still talking to the hardcore Everborn fans.
There you go.
Yeah, sure you are.
We need Everborn pay pigs. That's what we need.
Oh, hashtag charge.
Anyway, yes. So let's get a quick super chat in, and then we'll get this thing started. BT Maverick 707 with a $5 super chat. He said, "What up, gents? Before we get to the PS5 Pro pista topic, curious question: How do you guys combat that Florida humidity?"
Okay,
that's a them question. I'm here in New York.
I got the solution. Okay, let me go first, because I deal with this every single day. I live down here in the 305 Vice City. Okay, you run to your car and you turn on the air as fast as you can. That's how you combat it. And then you run back home and you turn on the air in there. So that's pretty much how you combat it. If you are outside for anything other than 5 minutes, you are going to be a sweaty mess. Okay? How do you combat it?
So there's an air conditioner, there's a fan spinning right here, right? And just to make sure that that fan is spinning the righteous kind of air, there's a standing air conditioner right here. And I have AI that really works real hard not to let you hear any of that. But these things are on constantly, right? In between this and the regular stuff that's in the living room and upstairs, then of course there's the car that has air conditioning, and then the work office that has air conditioning.
Yep.
And then you run in between them to get to the next air conditioned spot.
Exactly. The only
Welcome
way
to Florida.
The best way that I can tell you, that I can describe it to you, it's like when you walk into a sauna, it just punches you right in the face. That's the type of heat
right in the gut.
that we
Right
get.
in the gut.
Yep,
That's right.
right
That's
here.
right.
So run.
So there you go.
The way that I deal with the Florida heat is by only going to Florida in the winter months.
Every once in a while. That's
Oh,
right. There you
yeah.
go. There you go. That's right.
Yeah,
That's
I mean, the 2 days that we get cold down here, they're nice.
yeah, quite
It's only
nice.
like 2
Indeed.
days.
Indeed. So okay. Slander and ridiculous aside. Thank you, by the way, BT Mariver, for the question. One thing, let's get into this thing, okay? There's been PlayStation Plus talk, PlayStation Pro, I should say, talk for some time now, and people have given their opinions and this and that. But we on the show, on the Gaming Circle, this weekend, which we had a pretty good show. Mr. Everborn Saga and I had a great time. We had a lot of topics and not enough time to deal with it. And man, thanks to knocking on wood, we were able to accomplish our time goals right on time. But of course, it didn't allow for us to answer some of these hard hitting questions. So we figured we'd do another one. We have a bit of a reprieve. We already see a bunch of folks in the chat right now, a bunch of folks that are watching from all the various places between X, my X channel, Mr. Everborn's X channel, and the YouTube. There are a lot of folks watching, so thank you guys so much. The folks who happen to be in the chat, the folks who happen to be able and available to chat with us, leave questions. If you have any specific tech talk questions that you want answered, whether it be about the topic at hand or not, please go ahead, put the questions in the chat, whether they be super chats or regular, and we will catch them and we will read them, and we'll try to address as many of them as we can. But I kind of wanted to start.
Sorry.
Yes, sir.
I forgot to mention one thing about the Kickstarter.
Please do.
You don't have to wait to support it. That's a question we get a lot. I'll support, but I want to wait till I get paid. Kickstarter does not charge you until the campaign ends. The campaign does not end until October 8th, and they only charge you if we're funded. So if you were thinking about waiting till like a future date, you don't have to, because they will not charge you until October 8th when the campaign ends. So just putting that out there.
So you can hit the back this project button right now, and you won't get charged for 21 days. So, there's that.
Yeah, just putting it out.
Absolutely. All right, so let's double back and talk more about this PlayStation Pro, right? So, I wanted, and this weekend we couldn't get Mr. John Wolf on, so I know, John, between all of us, PlayStation gamers or gamers who like to play on PlayStation, you were the one who was more gung-ho about buying this product, right? And after what they showed, you weren't as much of a fan. You kind of, if I want to quote you directly, you said they passed over your red line, and because of that, you were not going to partake. So how about you give us a bit of the background on your red line, why you had a red line, and why you've chosen not to partake. We'll start there.
Sure, okay. And before we start this topic, I just want to put a disclaimer out there, okay? When we discuss the PS5 Pro now, like we're going to talk about the various aspects of it, this is in no way, this is just all three of us, our own opinion. We're not here to tell anybody not to buy, not to spend $700, not, that. We're not here to do that. What we're here is just to discuss what was shown and our thoughts on it. That's it. I just want to put that disclaimer because I don't want this to turn into that we're trying to tell people not to buy something.
And one other quick part of that, and I appreciate you for bringing that up. One other part of that, and you guys know this about me, but it bears repeating. I love sticking to speeds and feeds, right? I love sticking to the facts of the matter, what is tangible, right? Your opinion on that tangible, my opinion on that tangible may differ, but the thing that we're talking about has to be the same across the board for all of us, right? Those are the facts on the ground. So while I may say I think A about this, or I say I think B about this, the fact that the fundamentals of what we're talking about should be the same across the board. So what I will err on is I will share the facts, and then we'll share our opinion on said facts.
Absolutely.
Facts on the ground. Ooh, hey, no, there you go.
Look at that.
Facts on the ground. Anyway, so let's bring up the PS5's visuals, and you tell me, sir, why it is that, first off, why it is that you were so excited in the first place to buy one of these things.
Because I'm because I'm a pay pig, number one, and because number two, I get excited for hardware. I love hardware as much as I've been able to afford them since I started working. Anytime that there's word of new hardware from the big three, I'm always excited. It's that Christmas time for gamers, so I was looking forward to what they were going to show. I'm like, okay, let's see if this justifies me upgrading, etc., etc. And then when the time came, your direct question was why did they go over my red line, and what happened here? They outpriced me. I basically had a hard line saying, look, I'm willing to spend this much for whatever they show, and in fact, for what they did show and from the specs and everything that we're seeing, I kind of question the price. I think that the price is a factor of a couple of things that we've discussed kind of on our Discord throughout the week. I think that it has to do with, like you guys have mentioned, the market. I think it has to do with Sony's position in the gaming space. But I also think that it's because of a lack of competition that PlayStation is kind of riding on their high horse here, and why we didn't get things like the disk drive included, why we didn't get things like the stand included. And I think, with the way that PlayStation is moving right now, they are on that arrogant Sony kick. And quite frankly, if they would have shown something, even with all that said,
hey, John, just one thing. Has anyone confirmed that this thing comes with a controller?
I mean, I hope so.
I feel like that at this point, that's a serious question.
Yeah, I mean, I hope that when people buy it and they receive it in their homes, I hope it has the power cord. So what I'm trying to say, right, is
Apple stopped giving the charging break, right?
Right.
And they want to be like Apple
because of bravery.
Here's the weird thing. Here's the weird thing about this whole presentation and why, like, I was just turned off immediately. Okay, okay, yes, the $6.99 price is a sticker. Is sticker shock. You see it and you're like, wow, that's pretty up there. But if they would have shown something to blow our socks off, and they would have done what gaming companies and especially PlayStation always does, which is hype up their own stuff, maybe, just maybe, they would have gotten me on the FOMO and the hype alone, right? But the fact that what they're showing, they decided to do it in the format that they did, they completely killed any buzz that I had for this thing. 0. 100. I went from 100 to 0 immediately. Why? Because I feel like they did such a poor job, number one, in that presentation, and number two, they priced me out. I was willing to go to a certain amount, and they said, we're going to go over that amount. And I said, now I can't justify it.
Well, let me ask you a question. If memory serves me correctly, isn't this similar to the way they unveiled the PS5? First, it was a tech talk with Mark Cerny, and he talked about modeling ear lobes and variable clock frequencies and all that jazz and SSDs.
But they also did show footage of stuff.
But then later is when the actual PlayStation showcase came to show you this is what we have in store for the PS5. So I'm only saying that to say there may yet still be time for them to show us, what they've been working on. They haven't had a showcase in a while.
Here's the difference, Everborn. When you're unveiling the next generation, which is the PS5 entry, when you have the benefit of the doubt that it's a new generation and you're going to get people on board regardless. This is something that they're asking you to upgrade when technically, unless you really care about performance and resolution, you don't need it, right? You don't want it and you're not looking for it. This needs to be handled differently, in my opinion. This is for they're trying to convince either a existing PlayStation 5 owner or someone looking to come in to the ecosystem that their most expensive SKU is the best SKU, and these are the reasons why you should buy it. And I don't think that translated well in the presentation that they showed.
I don't disagree. My only question is, if they do have this mythical showcase that they've been supposed to have for like the last 3 years, let's say that actually happens and they show you 3 years worth of dope stuff.
Am I back on board? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. So my point is, no one can actually buy the PS5 Pro now. Mm-hmm. The holidays are coming up. One would assume that they have a showcase or a state of play going. So whether they show this to you now and show you the games later, doesn't make a difference. And part B of that is, are we under any assumption that this thing isn't going to sell out anyway?
Well, I'm sure that the first wave is going to be a plethora of scalpers and day oneers. So I'm almost certain that this is going to be sold out in the beginning. Plus, it's PlayStation. This
is to charge them more crowd, right? This is not how the shirt was designed for, which you can get on everbornsaga.com as we speak. But
absolutely, it's going to sell out. It's going to sell out because it's not like they're going to make a lot of these in the beginning. Let's be honest here. And whatever they allocate, 100% it's going to be sold out because of those two variables, right? But the one thing that I will tell you, right, that with your question, would I be on board again? Let's say that they come out and they show us Wolverine, Spider-Man 2 DLC Venom. It's looking crispy. They're saying that it's going to run 4K 60 upscaled on this thing. I think that for me personally, the damage has already been kind of done, because now we're going to get into the next portion of this for me, which is the value to me. Mm-hmm. Again, everybody's value is different, but the value to me, the person that was excited to get this, I think that they overstepped their boundaries for me on that outrageous price that they decided to go with $699 and not include a stand and not include the disc reader or anything like that. Now,
so yeah, let's establish that. Let's establish that real quick. So $699, right, for this model. This is $699, $700, right? And that does not come with the $80 disc drive. And the $30 stand, am I mistaken? Is it $30 for the stand?
$29.99.
Yeah, but no one has answered. Does it come with a controller, okay?
Yeah,
that is. We need to wait and see on that one. I think it does, because they're kind of taking pictures of it side by side, but that's neither here nor there.
The stand is in that picture.
Stand is in I know.
So I don't know.
So I guess my
sounds
question.
Like I'm joking, but
it's a joke, but kind of not. Yes, but here's the basis of my questioning here, right? Anybody who now has a PlayStation 5 that has the disc edition, right? Because if you have the disc version of the PS5, chances are you have at least 1 or 2 games, if not more. I have about 5 or 6 that you're gonna want to keep. It's part of your library. You're not gonna orphan it by not having a disc drive on your PlayStation 5 Pro. So if you're buying this, right, it even beyond it's worth it for the $799, the $699 price point. Is it worth the $8 and change price point that you will need as a disc owner? Because I'm a disc owner, meaning if I have to upgrade to this thing, I have a bunch of PlayStation 5 games. I need to buy that disc drive. I need to buy the stand.
I'm all digital.
Is it worth it?
Generation for PlayStation.
Mm-hmm. So you don't have a single PlayStation disc?
I do not. No. So not having, look, the thing is that for me it's kind of simple, right? Like when you have that perceived value, right? it, the thing is that when and this is just like the way that different markets kind of market their products. When you hear the word pro, right, you think that you are getting the top of the line, best, um, everything thrown, all the bells and whistles. That's what you think of, right? And to me, just to me, again, I could be. This is just my opinion. I think that they slimmed out on all those things, and they're giving you bare bones. They're saying, here's a console and a controller, hopefully an HDMI cable, hopefully the power cable,
Hopefully
and and you're not getting. I mean, you're not getting. If you want the disk drive, charge us more, charge them more. If you want, if you want this Pro to be complete, this is the real price. That's the way they're kind of rolling with this.
So let me just another piece of context. I am an owner of the launch PS5 disc, and I don't have any discs. In fact, I haven't bought a physical game since 2013. So just because you have the disc doesn't necessarily mean you have the game. But I do take what you're saying. I just know if there's anyone out there that's like me, the only reason I got the disc version of the PS5 is because that's what it was available, and you could not find discless at launch. So so I do suspect that there are going to be people that don't need that. However, I really think that this is a product that is targeted towards a very specific crowd.
Yep.
And I was saying this the other day in one of the DMs. The reason they call Tim Cook a supply chain genius is because he knows how and when to source parts, and how much and when to produce products, so that he's exactly meeting the demand that's out there. And if Sony makes this, and it really only is for the 10%, which would be 6 million at this point, maybe they'll get to 100 million by the end of the generation, and they sell 10 million of these, that's exactly what this thing was for. And so the price does seem stupid to me, but it's not made for me. Right?
Well, hold on, because they had me. They literally had me. All they needed to do was price it accordingly and have a good presentation, which was not hard to expect. By them not doing either thing, they lost me, and I was gonna get it.
But what I'm saying is, and I mean this with all due respect, and Xbox did the same thing to me, but the thing is, they may have had you and they may have lost you, but they don't need you, because there's so many people that are falling all over themselves to say, charge me more.
Okay.
Which is why we made the t-shirt. So it doesn't matter if they pushed away the John Wolf. It doesn't matter if Xbox pushed away the Everborn saga. What matters is that they have customers that are willing to fill in the gap. So
no, absolutely.
I think they're very. I think that $700 price, and we can come to that if this is the part of the conversation about how much competition has to do with this price, or lack thereof has to do with this price. I think that when you price this thing at $700, it is part of it. Like, to the extent, I don't know what it is for. There's no answer, so there's no Series X Pro that they have to price against. My only sort of argument to that is, I don't believe that would a Series X come out, that it would have been cheaper than $700, just because of where we are in terms of inflation, in terms of distribution costs, in terms of taxes, trade agreements, all those things, component parts, all those things are the very reason that neither Xbox or PlayStation have been able to lower their prices on their non-pro offerings. So if Xbox, who's not competing, and Sony, who could, and we believe the Sony is like boot on the neck. That's how they operate. Yep. They are not trying to undercut Xbox when Xbox now comes out with a 2 terabyte thing for $699, right? They haven't been able to lower the price on the Series S. They haven't been able to lower the price on the Series X. And so I just think there was no world in this timeline anyway that
they're selling glittery Xbox Series consoles at $600.
You know? What I'm saying is, even if everything was, if Xbox had a spine again and they actually wanted to compete and they were still cared about exclusives and they were making their own pro console.
Calm down with that spine talk.
Whatever.
Keep that to GCP. Calm down. Calm down.
But the point is, it's a statement to competition. And all I am saying is, if they were competing like the days of old, I still don't believe this PlayStation Pro would be any cheaper.
Let me tell you why I disagree.
I agree.
Okay. Let me tell you why I disagree. Okay. The reason, okay, that arrogant Sony is a moniker in the gaming industry is because they act and roll a certain way when they are so far ahead. Okay. So what's happening, in my opinion, from my vocal view, right, is that yes, everything that you just said is a factor. I am not trying to say that it has zero significance in the conversation. It does. It deserves to be part of the pie graph, right? But the larger part of the pie graph, in my opinion, is that if you think about it, right, their direct competitor in the console space, in the high graphics market, whatever the FTC called it, okay, Xbox announced that they were going to be bringing out a $450 Series X. $450. And PlayStation saw that. And they still said, we're going to release a pro console at $700. Why? Because we don't see US competition. That's why. We are not scared that the consumer is going to go to Best Buy and choose your $450 console over our $700 console. Why would they do that? Because they know that their position right now in 2024 is so dominant that they don't need to. That's why they don't need to go lower.
Hold on. While all the statements you've made up until this point is factual, the part that I'll push back on a little bit, and we'll move on from this because I don't want us to belabor this too much. The part that I will push back on a little bit there is, they knew that the console that is there at a cheaper price is also cannot be called a pro. They are not competing in the same exact space.
I disagree.
Right?
I disagree, and I'll tell you why.
But no, you can't disagree with the fact that the consoles that Xbox is offering is not a pro variant. It's not.
Hold on, Kate. This is why I disagree. When you walk into a store, you have two Xboxes. You have a Series S and a Series X. One is less powerful, one is more powerful. When you walk in now, when this thing releases, you have two PS5s. One is less powerful, one is more powerful. It's the same thing. And they chose still to say, we're going to charge $700. So with that said, when you have a direct competitor that is offering two SKUs, one way cheaper, one that's, kind of up there, but not as outrageous as a $700 console, that just shows you their arrogance and their kind of
just understand
we're not.
It's exactly what Mr. Edward Bonstaga was saying right now. It's a very specific audience this is for. I venture to guess that the audience that will run into a store and specifically look for a pro is a person who already has a regular, right? The pro is not for your normal, or at least your pro is not for your casual, just happens to bump across it. The pro is for someone who's done their research and knows they want pro level specs.
Is the Series X for the casual?
Well, hold on. Let me put that in a different context. So you said, I said, and I think, John, you also agree that this is for a very specific audience. It's not the mass market.
Absolutely. And so is the Series X.
Right. So now the question is, if you are making a box that is designed, and again, history and market research will tell them the PS4 did 10%, 10 to 12% or whatever of the install base. So it is for a very small subset of your audience. And it is for the hyper enthusiast of the platform, right? So much so that you can charge that. And I would argue that customer would not even consider a Series X Pro. So the idea that if there was a competing Pro in the market, that PlayStation customer who is amenable to a $700 price tag here would now go and consider an Xbox, I don't think that customer exists. Now, again, Kay Asante, the guys that just buy everything because we have more money than sense.
Speak for yourself, man. I wish I had more money than sense. Calm down.
We would make that decision or just buy both or whatever if it was, on offer. But I think a device like this that is geared towards that small percentage of the market, competition with someone who may consider an Xbox if it had a lower price, I think that's an even smaller subset than the subset that this is even made for. So I just don't I know where you're coming from, and I do connect those dots as well with some other things, but not on the price of the PS5 Pro.
Yeah.
At least not to any like significant extent. I don't think competition would have saved us $50. Is what I'm saying.
MJ Dark, $5 super chat, and we'll get back to this, and I'll pose a different question. MJ Dark with a $5 super chat, and he says, when they show Stellar Blade running on the PS5 Pro, John will cave drop the $700.
No.
First impressions are everything, and that's where they failed.
Oh man, how close to the release on PC is my question.
So let's continue down this line. But I want to add something else into this mix because we are on a channel, on a show that usually likes to speak the speeds and feeds and talk the tech talk by way of PC gaming. So let me share this little chart here, and we'll talk about this one. You might not be able to see this completely brightly, so I may have to do some visual aids. You can see my mouse moving here, right? So there's been that talk, and at the bottom here, you see all the architectures, RDNA and Turing and Vega and Pascal. These are all the various generations of graphics cards. And you've heard a lot of talk about how this thing compares to the current gen of PC graphics cards. And obviously,
that's a good debate, let me tell you.
Yeah. And obviously, one thing we should establish right from jump, for those who may not be absolutely clear on it, there is no direct translator to what's happening on the PlayStation currently. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean, the PlayStation is doing rasterized performance, your standard performance, which a bunch of these cards are doing. And then it's also got the PISA. Now, what is the PISA? It is their AI-driven upscaler, right? How well does the PISA work? How transformative is it? How much does it help the PlayStation 5 Pro shoot beyond its physical capabilities? That is yet unclear. Okay, that we're learning more as we go along. Digital Foundry did a video on it some days ago where they were looking at the compressed YouTube footage, saw nothing. Now they've gotten access to like proper footage that was like very high quality that you can then differentiate and do your internal metrics and whatnot. And now they're coming out with some talking points, but by and large, we don't know the full ramifications that the PISA is going to be offering us. And I have to say it that way, forgive me. So we can only go based off of what has been said and what has been spoken of as far as percentage points, right? So just so you guys can understand, the PlayStation 5, the default PlayStation 5 was historically known to speak basically to hit the levels of an RX 670. That is right here. If you see my mouse move, it's right here. And it's not the RX 670 at at 10 gigs because it doesn't have 10 gigs on the discrete graphics. Obviously, the PC variant has 10 gigs of VRAM dedicated to it. The PlayStation 5 base does not have dedicated VRAM pool. It uses shared memory. But by and large, that is the closest analog to what the PlayStation 5 can do. Now, the PlayStation 5 Pro is 40% more performant than its base. That is what we've heard as a fact. It's 40% more performant from a GPU perspective than its base. What is that direct performance uplift? That's the 6800. All the others are either just not enough or way too much. 40% directly from its previous, from a 6700 RX is the 6800, not the 6800 RX, not the 6800 XT, because that uplifts it even more. It's exactly the 6800, right? But the 6800 has no AI capabilities for upscaling at all, which the PlayStation does. And we don't know what the Pissa can do, right? The only card that is on the market right now that does rasterized performance as well as AI upscaling performance is the 4070.
Yeah,
right?
which
that's
that's
right
why,
over there.
That's why we're hearing all those comparisons.
Yes. Now here's the funny part, right? What you're looking at right now on this scale, it's not being very, very, very particular in its definition, but it is showing you some details as well. So right now, right, the 670, which is right here, right, in this frames per second chart is at right around 145, 150 frames per second right here, right? And then there's a 4060, which is a little beneath it, but it does not do up AI upscaling either, right?
Right.
The next one that is able to do AI upscaling in addition to rasterized performance is the 4070, right? But if you look even at this chart, the 660, the 670 without the 680 without RX is around, like the 680 right now without RT is around, based on this chart, looks like it's around 240. Around 240, right?
Yeah.
And then we have the 4070 a little higher than that. In actual fact, the graphics uplift of the base to the Pro is 40%. So it stays right here. What will it do beyond that? The pisser will tell us.
Well, I got questions.
Okay.
So go ahead. Go ahead, Everborn. No, go ahead.
Right.
You're the guest.
Okay. So look at that. Cam went out anyway.
Oh yeah. What's going on with your cam?
Yeah,
no. I mean, I got the Elgato, but it still goes out. I think it's heat from the camera or something.
Interesting. Well, mine's always righteous, not a problem. But yes, you were going to say, sir.
Yeah. So, there's a few things. I know this is a Speeds and Feeds show.
Yes,
right?
It is.
But I like the discourse around the PS5 Pro has been so exhausting. Right, where you see all the arguments and all the assumptions and all the, like, it's just like, let the thing come out, let Digital Foundry actually use it and not analyze YouTube videos. Let's not compare it to things that are non-comparable. And once it's in people's hands or they seed it to people early, like, I just don't understand why they gave this thing to CNET instead of Digital Foundry. And now
my only reason for bringing this up is, yes, as my brothers on this panel will attest, the conversations are going to get a little bit ridiculous and fraudulent for the next couple of months, right?
Oh yeah.
But those of us who happen to be on this channel, those of us who happen to be but who can hear the sound of my voice, you know, a lot of times y'all share things with us, we share things with you. We share our knowledge, you share your knowledge, we all grow. This is me bringing knowledge to the congregation. For those who want to know the proper speeds and feeds of it. And let me be clear, this is not Digital Foundry being, at least from my perspective, from what I see, it wasn't them being ridiculous. It wasn't them just stoking more console wars or whatever. They were talking about a device that is desktop capable, that offers both AI upscaling and a certain amount of rasterization performance.
Right. The
and
closest equivalent you could get is the 4070. That does not mean it is on par with a 4070.
Exactly.
That's the device, the first device in the line of devices that
can do
those things.
Yes.
My only thing is there's so much of this is speculation because we don't know how well the pisser works.
Yes.
Right?
I have
the pisser things. is the
pisser going to take the piss when it comes to upscaling? Who knows?
I have two things, Kate, to get to the technical aspects of it. So my first question
could be great too. I'm not saying it won't. I'm just saying we don't know.
Right. My first question, Kate, right, with the decision that they made here to keep the CPU to upclock it from what I'm understanding 10% more, which they really didn't talk about. That's still a rumor, by the way. That hasn't been confirmed. And then give this big boost on the GPU side, right? Obviously, what the marketing told us of that presentation was that the PlayStation gamer is made to choose between performance and fidelity, and they wanted that gamer to have the best of both worlds, right? That's what this thing is being sold on.
Which is marketing, but yes, continue.
Exactly. So what's happening that I'm seeing here, right? With all the different information that we're getting across our timelines and articles and stuff like that and videos, is that and this is just me being new to PC gaming, and since we started this channel, we're 49 episodes in. Am I wrong to believe that there is a bottleneck here because they decided to keep the same CPU but only worry about the graphics side of the house? Is that going to cause the bottleneck where that is why when this bold claim is made that this is as powerful as a 4070, we need to simmer down on those expectations?
No, it's not. That's not why the 4070 is a bad comparison point. It's just the capabilities are the bad comparison point. So real quick, and we're presuming that the 6800 RX is the proper one because it is 40% more powerful than the 67, right? 6700. So if you're saying that it's 40% more performant, then the 68 is where we would go. And I'm just sharing right from the screen just some preliminary numbers comparing the two with the 4070 and that, and how much less performant it is than the other one, right? So there is a market difference. It's not huge, but there is a market difference, and this is just in desktop parlance. The reason why, to answer your question directly, Mr. John Wolf, the reason why it's being compared negatively, in my opinion, is not necessarily because of a bottleneck. It's more because the CPU controls a lot in this space, right? We even comparing the desktop variants compared to the console variants is a bit of a estimated wishy-washy comparison, because on the desktop side, there's a lot of variables that can easily be overlooked because the profile is not solid. It's not a hard profile they're hitting. They give you an amalgamation. You go in, you tweak, you do what you do in order to hit a certain threshold that you want to hit. Whereas on the console side, it must be solid every single time, repeatable, no different, no variations, right? They lock the profile in, and what you get is what you get, right? Now, your question as to why they didn't add the CPU upgrade, if they had added the CPU upgrade, now you have to account for multiple CPUs, right? Graphics can be scaled. You can turn up more fidelity versus less fidelity, right? Obviously, resolution becomes a factor. You can do resolution scaling, which is what they're doing in this instance, right? So the same content can be scaled up and down based on how much performance that the destination device can handle, right? But if you teeter a little too far in the wrong direction, for a processor class, now all of a sudden you're at a point where you can't get it to run on the base systems because you're using too much complexity for that base system to handle, and that doesn't scale, right? And this has been the noose around the neck of mid-gen that I've said for a while now. Even taking them at their word, assuming that this hardware is the greatest thing since sliced bread, they are held back by the base PS5 console, because that base PS5 console can only do so much. If it was graphics they were trying to share with you, right? In that world, they can scale up, show you amazing visuals on the Pro console because graphics scale. Look at Fortnite. You can play that same base game on a Switch or scale it up to have nanite, beautiful shadows, ray tracing all over the place. The fundamentals of that game is still the same. It's not like all of a sudden the CPU is far more complex because you're scaling it to a higher threshold, right? That's the key factor here. Because they are beholden to the base PS5, right? It is not in their best interest to upgrade the CPU to tremendous levels, because now you have to have a separate team that develops just for that, right? That seems to be the sticking point. You can't just go, well, we'll hit the CPU complexity here and then we'll hit another CPU. They have different modes, as you've noticed. They have a pro mode and a regular mode. They can only do so much because they don't want to price out the base PS5 ecosystem. It's the cyberpunk problem.
I understand, and you explained that beautifully. I have one more thing, but Everborn, I think you wanted to say something, so I can
no.
Please.
I just wanted to say that, would it have been nice if they could have upgraded the CPU? Absolutely, but then that you're basically at the PS6 if you do that. And
yes,
we're not ready
then you're
for
talking
PS6.
the next gen right now.
Okay.
So I don't think you can really do that practically and still have developers do what they do and still have proper backwards compatibility. And it's just, you just got to take what you get. You're going to get a better GPU. Hopefully this upscaling stuff is nice, but you just can't do anything about the CPU right now unless you want to jump to the next generation.
Understood. So I have one more thing. I have one more thing for you, because this is one of those things that I had to put on the negative side of the list when I was all hyped for this, and all of a sudden I started making reasons not to be anymore because they gave me a bunch of reasons. So here's one of them. One of the big sticking points for me with the marketing that they chose. The marketing that they chose to go with as the very first thing that they show this thing off with is that, are you tired of choosing between fidelity and performance? If you buy this, you no longer have to do that. Which is
the biggest snake oil out of all
brought to you by the people that told you SSDs would give you better graphics. You keep saying you can't listen to executives when they talk. I mean, you need the proof to be in the pudding, and we have to see the stuff come out. That's why I'm super reserved on criticism on either way. And trust me, the smoke will come. I just want to see what the difference actually is.
I mean, and the thing is, when the day comes, right? Because unfortunately, we know it's gonna come. When the day comes that 30 FPS title is on the PS5 Pro, where it's gonna be the Aaron Greenberg 4K 60 tweet all over again. It's gonna be that all over again, because again, they are failing on the promise that is being marketed, which is you won't have to choose between fidelity and performance ever again. That's what they were advertising. I just want to make that clear. Did everybody see the same thing I did?
So when it comes to this stuff, I don't pay attention. Yes, those who are ready to grab the pitchforks, I suspect, will have a reason to grab them eventually, because if that's what they said, they'll be wrong at some point. But I usually don't pay close attention, because in addition to that marketing they said, they also did say, much like Aaron Greenberg and Microsoft said, that the developers are within their rights to use that performance any which way they want.
And they
so it's not a mandate, right? It's not a mandate that you have to put a 60 frames mode in. No, it's here's more resources. You can do with it what you will. So some devs will choose to have their vision in order to give you a 60 frames mode. Others will choose to use the entire resource pool to push their element to the next level. And then y'all are going to be mad because it'll be 30 frames.
Yep,
you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
There's one other thing I wanted to say on this, which was I see a lot of talk about what the Alan Wake internal resolution is and what it's rendering at. I just feel like in the world of upscaling, specifically like AI upscaling, the whole point is for you to render at lower internal resolution so that you can upscale it. So saying that it runs at 864p means nothing. What does the overall image quality look like? And whatever the pisser is able to do will tell us that. And so that is the point we should focus on, not the internal render resolution, because that's the whole point. No one should be rendering at native 4K. It's a waste. It's a fool's errand.
Now, my small pushback to that, right? Which it's a very slight pushback. Okay. The better resolution you start at, the better you get, right? Sure. So you want to run at like 1080p for a 4K image, or 720p. Sure. Well, but that is determined by the power of your pisser and the accelerated hardware that you're using to upscale. If you are at a level where your upscaler is just so performant and so mature that you can take a freaking 720p image and scale it to 4K with and be able to stand with the best of them, hey, that's awesome, right? Absolutely. And I don't disagree on that, Everborn, right? The key is to take very small images and blow them out to huge 4K screens without there being much, if any, loss at all. That is the success of this. That way, the hardware is rendering very small images, very small uplift, and then the AI acceleration is doing that legwork, right? But as you know, we don't live in a world where everyone is sitting there looking at the speeds and feeds. We on this show pride ourselves on that. But most people like to use talking points, right? All the time. This show, we all the time.
Saying, if you want to,
most people love using talking points. And that idea that 800 something P on a device that's considered the Pro is not a good look, right? It sounds terrible. I don't disagree with you that at the base level you want it to render it at the smallest resolution possible, and depending on seeing how it renders it completely on the 4K screen and how amazing it's able to retain all of those artifacts, that will determine the strength or the use of that upscaler. So you want that. Just the idea that people hear that that's the internal resolution, that's the bad luck.
No, I'm just saying, troll better. If you wanted to troll, you would wait until the game came out, get some of those like Vaseline skin looking textures, or get that Last of Us PC port, get a screenshot like that and say, this is what the Pro looks like. Saying it renders at 864p when that's the whole point of upscaling is not a good troll.
Are you saying for them to put away are you saying that they need to put away the oof meme?
Yes, just
for
wait.
Now.
Christmas time is coming. Winter is coming.
Although, because on this show we are fair here, right? Those who have looked at, and namely Digital Foundry, who have looked at the raw, actual uncut footage that is not hampered by YouTube compression, did say what MJ Dark is making fun of Floodzilla now.
Now
the pisser does look to be a bit more performant when put to like for like FSR workloads. So there's that.
Can I say something that's gonna make me sound like I know what I'm talking about? Is that because PlayStation? We've been kind of dogging them all episodes, so let me give them a little bit of credit here. Is that because I do have a little bit more smoke for them before we sign off tonight? Is that because they decided to go with hardware AI compared to FSR? Is that why now they're seeing better results?
It's because they're using accelerated upscalers, meaning separate hardware components on the SoC dedicated to this purpose, right? And FSR has always just been software, and that's it. And no AI to back it or accelerated hardware. Now, that brings up the interesting point that I share on the screen right now, which is that AMD with FSR 4 is talking about transitioning to pure AI upscaling instead of what they have been doing with the algorithm.
Isn't
not perfect timing.
No, but
it's not perfect timing. Think about it. Think about it. These guys have their hands in every pie. If you're an Xbox and you're creating something, you're using AMD. If you're a PlayStation and you're creating something, you're using AMD. You think they don't know what the PISA looks like? Of course they do. They know damn well that as soon as the PISA comes out, there'll be talk of, oh, the PISA is better than FSR, because they're fundamentally a part of the creation process of all of these tools. So they probably saw what is about to happen before we see what's about to happen. And they go, hey, let's get it in there real quick and let them know we're going to AI. So when the PISA starts taking our cake, people going to be like, hey, well, let's wait to see what the next gen looks like. That's what's happening right now.
That's true.
They know what's happening. They weren't blindsided by PlayStation News. They're part of that equation. You know?
I think you're right. I have two things before we move on from the PlayStation real fast. Just two more things, Kay. And these are kind of technical questions. So the first one, with the promise of backwards compatibility, PS4 titles getting a boost here. That is something that I was looking forward to, because my favorite game of all time is God of War 3. Okay, they ported that, as you know, to the PlayStation 4. That game runs at 1080p, 60 frames per second on your base PS4 that never got a Pro upgrade, and that obviously has never gotten a PS5 upgrade either. Okay, from CNET, from their article, they made it sound like the PISR technology was going to be able to up-res and give a boost to these older games. But
when you say up-res, what are you saying exactly? Are you saying increased resolution?
I have no idea. That's the thing.
Okay.
When
that's
they
the
say,
key.
because when they talk about, like, let's use logic, common sense here. Because we know this from last generation. The PS4 to the PS4 Pro, a bunch of games got patched. The PS4 to the PS5, a bunch of games got patched. Is this going to be the same thing that the developers have to patch these older games, or is the technology in the PS5 going to do it alone?
So again, this is total speculation on my part. Let me be clear. Absolute speculation on my part, because we have not gotten any real white papers. We haven't gotten any real behind the curtain views as to how this technology is moving, right? All we know is the outcome of the PISA and what it looks like. We don't know any further details. They have not shared any further real details. But from what we know about how, and this has been established by Xbox, right? This whole paradigm of upgrading existing games before it used to be, well, now we have remakes or remasters, right, where they go in and they clean up the assets and blah 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 blah. With the Xbox and the series consoles, well, not even the series, but Xbox One and all that, giving you resolution boosts, resolution boosts, and giving you
resolution boobs.
You thought that was gonna slip past me, didn't you?
Are those nips in 4K or?
Yeah. That's where Stella Yams came from. Anyway,
awesome.
In addition to boosting the resolution and giving you better frame rates and all of that, right? But with how they did it is through virtual hardware, right? One of the key components of a platform, of a console ecosystem, is certification. You certify the game is now ready for consumer play, which inevitably basically locks it down. Pencils down. You can't go in and tweak a damn thing, because now you've broken certification. You got to go recertify the thing, right? They cannot go in and just play with code, because it has long-lasting ramifications that could potentially break something, and you don't want that in a console parlance, right? This is a side effect of why it is that every time there's a new game that's in beta or that needs to be tested as it's an early access, they'll go to PC because there's no certification necessary there. You can just drop another one and another one. Oh, this game is broken. put this patch out, see if it fixes it, without having to go through certification, right? So on the console side, with certification being a strong factor in the equation, it hampers them from being able to just go in and tweak and add more. So I suspect, unless the technology is different, unless they're offering, you know, something new we haven't seen before, any use of those upscaling techniques will be to components and to parts that don't require code manipulation, right? Which isn't much. There's a draw distance a little bit. Anti-aliasing is definitely a factor. You can make the distance a little sharper because now you have hardware that's tightening it up at that level so far rendered, so it makes the image have an overall sharpness that it didn't before. But to really make use of this feature without virtual hardware manipulating the virtual code, you kind of need to open it up and modify the code, right? So yes, I hear that they're saying that the existing hardware, existing games will get boosts as well. Again, rumor and speculation. I'm looking forward to seeing what they can actually manipulate without touching code. Because the minute you touch code, you got to go talk to the developer. And I'm not even talking about first party. First party, obviously, they have them all in-house. They can do whatever the hell they want. It's their system, right? But we're talking about, like, let's say you're a PlayStation-only gamer. You have a DERF, a third-party library. You know, you're not going to expect that every third-party publisher will go in and modify their code for an existing game. You're just not going to expect that.
Exactly.
Right? That's just not feasible. So I would love to see what this hardware and this technology will do in those cases where the developer is not around, or the publisher or the developer are no longer around, and you want to be able to play, I don't know, Sleeping Dogs at a higher resolution. You want to be able to play it at a higher frame rate, right? Whereas on Xbox, they did they basically ran them all through the gamut and are able to manipulate code at a virtual hardware level, so it doesn't break any of the certifications, and still is able to rise resolution, still able to rise some certain FPS boost and HDR and all extra. We will see what PlayStation brings to bear to see if to do similar features. Right now, since their fundamental ecosystem is not based on VMs and hypervisors and whatnot, it doesn't seem like they have too many of those same options. I look forward to being wrong. I want to be wrong, because that tells me new technology is being brought to bear in this space.
Okay. And then the second thing, just to kind of move on from the PS5 Pro talk, unless you got something else you want to say. The second thing, and this is just something I'm just throwing out there. Do you think that Insomniac played any role in this pisser technology? Because if you've played Spider-Man with their upscaling technology, with the ray tracing and all that, and all the bells and whistles that they did, is there any possibility that they took that tech and they kind of morphed it into the pisser technology here that they might be using?
So I wouldn't say that, and Everborn, you give your opinion as well. I wouldn't say that their technology directly relates to what is now known as affectionately as the pisser, but I would say they'd be fools if they don't consult one of their best studios who really has skills in upscaling.
Well, right? that is what Sony does, though. When they make new hardware, they go to their studios, especially the Insomniacs, but not just them. It's also the Guerrilla Games, right? Like these guys have their own engines, and Sony tries to make their hardware based on the specific feedback from their studios. And to be fair, according to the ABK trial, Activision as well. So I don't know how that's going to work, going forward. I mean, it's not like they're competing, like John said. But anyway, maybe it doesn't matter.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
Hey, maybe they'll talk to Bethesda and see how it runs various other games.
I'm sure Xbox will be glad to send people.
It just and I so I would be surprised if Insomniac didn't play a role, as well as Naughty Dog, as well as
I wouldn't say that their direct technology. Monica, right? I wouldn't say that their direct technology was the the fundamental basis of the PISA, and I'm trying to find every
no. But I'm saying they go to their engineers and they say, "Well, what do you need? What's the future of this? What would make your life easier?"
100%.
And then they try to build that to hardware.
Just like Microsoft goes to the Coalition and goes to Turn 10 and all of that to get their systems to make sure that they do that. This is the same thing. I wouldn't be surprised.
100%. The only thing I think with Microsoft is because Microsoft is sort of, when they build something, it's not just for the Xbox, right? They're like, all right, this is gonna be, we're gonna like they're thinking about DirectX and all the hardware that has to support. They're thinking about all these things, and so it's less bespoke. It's less bespoke than what PlayStation is, even though they're just using the same AMD chips. Let's be very clear.
No doubt, it's very much less bespoke. But I will say, Auto HDR was directly from Xbox that eventually came elsewhere. It didn't work the other way around, where it started elsewhere and then was ported into Xbox. It was a fundamental finding on Xbox that eventually made its way to other places, including
direct storage as well.
Windows build. Yeah. Direct storage as well. Exactly. So wherever they find that fundamental technology or that innovation that helps, they then funnel it to the rest.
We just need quick resume on PC. That's what.
That'll be great.
Yeah, that's true.
That'll be great. I got one more question for you both. This thing is $699, so obviously us three, we tapped out on that price, right? Because we, for whatever our own reasons, for now, exactly. What price?
Forever for me, but
okay. So I guess I'll ask Kay then. Kay, what would have been the sweet spot price for you to say you were a day oneer? And don't say free.
No, obviously free 99. Hey man, y'all want to send it to me? I'm happy to review and preview and give you. I'll give you my deets on the PISA. Anyway, no. So what is my drop dead price? The price where I go, it's okay. I will buy in. Honestly, anywhere. Well, honestly, I could still buy this thing. Honest with you, I think it's overpriced from my technical perspective.
Whoa! This is news to me. You're saying you might be a day oneer?
No. I'm definitely not a day oneer.
Oh,
definitely
okay.
I think that the price is overpriced from what they've shown me so far, right? But if you show me something that makes it valuable and worth it to me before it releases, maybe, who knows? Right now, with the information I have today, I think it's overpriced. With the information we have today, I say $650 would have been your max to get people in there. And by $650, I mean $650 for the discless version, $700 for the one with the disc and the stand, and hell, throw in an extra controller.
That's crazy, man.
That would have been doable to me. If you like, I'll make it even easier for you. If you say this thing is $699, right? Which they said, right? But it comes with with the extra disc, and it also comes with the stand and an extra controller in that $699 package. That might have gotten me. Because do I think the technology translates to the 250 whatever more you're spending? Honestly, I do not. But as you're describing,
there's value there.
For me, necessarily it wouldn't be. But as you're describing, we're guys who like to collect technology. I have every console known to man over here. Well, almost every console known to man. I collect this stuff, so I would most likely err on that side and go, you know what? I for the channel. Maybe to be part of the conversation, I might buy in. But the fact that it's $699 with nothing, and you have
it feels a little disrespectful. So for me,
it feels a little backhand to the face.
It's a little crazy. I'm not gonna lie.
So for me, I'm not like the price of it. Is not the thing that's like the deterrent for me. It's just that I know I wouldn't use it, right? So. As an example, do you want to tee up this thing we're going to do tomorrow?
Oh yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Speak on it.
So,
John, send me the link to the one you got in the DM so I can post it up. Send it to me here.
So John, you were supposed to be a part of this, so I hope you can make it tomorrow. We're going to do it around 6-ish. maybe earlier if depending on Kay's schedule. But the plan is to pick up one of these 7840 HS mini PCs.
Okay.
Now these things are basically the size of a Mac Mini, smaller. You can fit it in one hand. So the one I got, go to Amazon and just search for B-Link SER7.
Okay.
Well, this is the one that I've ordered first, $429.
Oh, you bought the SCR7. There's an SCR8 right here. So let's go to the SCR7.
So, let me tell the story before you change that, right?
Yeah,
because I want people to understand how low they can get in on this. You see that one? This is the one I ordered first, Ace Magic. It's $429. It is running the 7840 HS, which is something. It's basically the same chipset that the ROG Ally is based on.
Extreme.
It's a little bit more.
I mean, let's be clear. The Ally is a lower brother to this guy, but
it's the Extreme. Come on, man.
Right.
That's what pisses me off even more. You take features out and call it Extreme. Like, shut up.
Pisser. It's the pisser of APUs. Stop it.
So, and it has the same integrated GPU, which is the 780M. That is what your Ally and your Ally X are running. Right.
That's what all of them are running. Yep.
The only difference is this APU, specifically the 7840 HS, the memory is a little bit slower than what you get in your ROG Ally. So it's 5600 mega transfers a second, whereas you're getting 75 on the Ally X and 64 on the Ally. But the OG Steam Deck, the LCD, is running 5600, so it's not like unusable.
Yeah, it's not a deal breaker.
But $429, and so the plan is, what Kay and I are going to do is we're going to get this thing, and we are going to get rid of Windows and put Bazite on it, and this puck will be my living room console running Steam OS Bazite. So it will be the Steam box that we've talked about for so long on GCP, and we're going to build it on stream right in front of everybody. That's why I got this cam set up. Now, I ended up not getting the Ace Magic because I had heard some things about them, but I wasn't worried about that. It is because they were doing some funny business with the shipping at Amazon, and I heard that B-Link had a better cooling system. So it's the same APU completely. Okay, if you look for SER7,
all the same APU. Yeah, they're all the same APU. All of them are. So SER.
So SER7.
So that we can advertise this properly, where will we be hosting this?
Right here.
Okay. All three channels. Right. Gotcha.
Yep. So this is the one I got. It comes in silver, but this one was on sale. So I got it for like $529. You can find it for a little bit cheaper. There's a lot of sales going on. So anyway, this B-Link is a more well-known brand. So this has been reviewed by Retro Games Core, by the Fox, friend of the channel, by ETA Prime. They've all reviewed this thing, spoken highly of it. So this,
and it goes up to 65 watt TDP. Wow. 65. Yeah, not that 30 on your, and real quick, so you understand, that's the difference in the HS and the U moniker. 7840U, 7840 HS. The HS starts at a higher TDP because it's actually meant for laptops, and laptops you plug it in, higher TDP, more wattage, more battery life. The U variant are cut down from a TDP perspective, so it doesn't overheat in your hand because they're in handhelds. So this guy goes up to 65 watt TDP.
Right.
Although if you feel froggy, you can leap and you can plug in your Ally and all this, and then use third-party software to crank up that TDP, and you can hit close to these levels because they're all basically the same chipset. One's just rated for higher use case than the other. So they limit it in order to keep it safe from overheating.
Right. Yes. So what we're building is effectively a ROG Ally console, but we're not going to have Windows on this thing at all. It's gonna run the same OS that's on the Steam Deck.
You're gonna have a Steam box, is what you're gonna do.
That's basically exactly what we're doing, right?
Yep.
Yes.
And so can Steam's OS serve as a console under the TV, plugged in, no Windows, nothing, just controller, TV, what we're used to, but everything that we get from Steam?
I got 2 questions about the details here. So number one,
before you ask that,
sure.
The goal of this exercise was, can we do this for under $500? Right? So can you spend what you would spend on a console and use the console-friendly UI without Windows getting in the way, but having all those benefits that we know? So you see, right here.
Now you're asking.
So hold on.
Yeah.
While I'm here, and I agree with you, and we're gonna work on it, I will tell you right now what you get on a console.
No,
right, for $500.
I want to be very clear. I want to be very clear, and I don't want anyone to confuse what I'm saying. I am not saying you are going to get the same performance you're going to get on your.
You're definitely not.
Disclaimer. That's a disclaimer.
Not in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Is
it good enough? It is good enough. But will you get exactly the same bells and whistles as you would on a console? I bet the answer to that one is no.
You won't. But what you will get is everything that Steam has to offer for the most part, because your Steam
and
Deck
you'll also get options. Right, you'll get options, because if you don't like Starfield at 30 frames, you can start putting draw distance back and seeing it go to 45.
Well, I got 2 important questions about the details, which we can get into the nitty gritty tomorrow. But just real quick, Everborn, just to kind of whet our appetite here. Number one, what controller are you looking to get with this thing? That's number one.
I ordered. You remember that new Xbox controller that came out?
The blue one?
The clear one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
I have that one on the way, but it won't be here in time for us to do this thing tomorrow. But that's the one I'm going to be using.
Nice. Okay, that's a nice pairing.
Speaking of controllers, real quick, have y'all seen my
Elite?
My Elite. Look at this. Look at this.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it's falling apart.
Look at this.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at that.
It's not so elite.
And it's not even the controller itself functions great. My connections are all there, but look at the plastic.
Is that the Elite 1 or 2?
That's
the Elite 2, sir. The Elite 1 is in pieces over there because it too fell apart. Bad on you, Microsoft.
Now the question is,
continue.
The question is, if they've broken your trust twice, do you buy another Elite?
This is not a trust-breaking exercise.
No.
Why does it got to get all emotional?
No, wait a minute. No.
Here we go.
This is the problem. We're not going to do this today. I'm not going to sully the airs of Gamers Playground. But if a manufacturer promises you a certain thing, meaning quality in a near $200 controller, and both times you gave him a chance, the first time you gave him a chance, the second time, and both time the things fall apart, do you trust them again on the third outing? Because if a PC manufacturer did that to you, we would never hear the end of it.
No, but hear me careful. You gotta let me finish. Can you let me speak, sir? Let me speak. Let me speak. Okay. Yes, they have broken my trust. They broke my trust twice now. But what I will tell you is, the next Elite that comes out, you won't see me buy one immediately. You'll see me wait. You'll see me wait and get reviews and fully understand the concept that, hey, they have traversed that divide that was their bad workmanship, their bad quality control, right? After I'm confident that their quality control is there, will I buy in? Most certainly, because what I like about that controller, I still like about that controller. What I don't like is their quality control, and they haven't fixed that yet. So all I'm waiting for them to do, hold on. All I'm waiting for them to do is fix their quality control, and then I'm there again. But until then, I'll be rocking my Duke.
So in other words, you don't trust them.
See, but
and
why must you use such emotional language?
Why does the word trust trigger you, sir?
It doesn't trigger me.
I'm just saying.
Let me explain. The reason why I don't.
Where's Gamers Nexus?
Exactly. The reason why it doesn't rise to that level of trust is that I never really, it's not an emotional thing for me. It's a transactional thing for me. You build something that I like, I will use it, right? You don't do what I expect you to do. I'll choose a different device. Here's the thing. If all of a sudden my face buttons, if my ability to play this with this thing was hampered in any way, I hear you. I'd be more perturbed by the situation. I'd be more vexed by the situation. The controller itself fundamentally is perfect. I can still use it. I use it a lot.
China.
The fact that these parts this is where and that deserves criticism because they need to get their workmanship to a certain level. But still, the fundamentals of this still works. So that's why I'm not like, oh my God.
Okay, let me say this. And we can move on.
Sure.
If anyone else sold you twice in a row controllers or some piece of hardware that fell apart in the way that the Elite controller has fallen apart, you would never let them hear the end of it. And you would say that they can't be trusted again. And John is saying it. I didn't want to say that. Look at the way you talk about Asus when they just breathe.
Well, do you know the reason why?
When it comes to Microsoft, we can't say anything.
Let me explain. Let me explain the reason why. Let me explain 100% the reason why. Okay, because
you have a double standard. That's
no, not at all, not at all. Let me explain.
I'm saying what John wants.
Hold on. I know you are, but that's not what That's not the case. Like, has there been a time where I have a critical deadline and all of a sudden this doesn't function? No, but there have been many times where I have a critical deadline. I go hit the power button on my PC and my motherboard has decided to shit the bed on me. Why? Because Asus decided to release a firmware upgrade that forces upgrades. That forces you to change your, and that has happened to me.
We're teaming up on you here.
Oh yeah, go ahead on, bro. Go ahead on, bro. Do your thing. No. Look. It's fundamental. If you fundamentally, let's calm down, guys. If you fundamentally stop me, if you fundamentally stop me from getting critical tasks performed, I'm looking at you. And Microsoft has not done that with this. I have not woken up one morning, plugged it in, and then the controller doesn't work. That has not happened yet. But there have been many times.
Elite One is in pieces in the corner, but okay.
Yeah, but I have a million other controllers. I didn't need that thing.
That's your answer because you have a million other controllers.
Let me
excuses the fact that the controller is in pieces.
Everborn, let me save my co-host here. We're gonna move on. We're gonna move on.
Y'all, you gotta calm down, bro. Just because you are a console emotional gamer, I understand that you can't see beyond, and other people can be magnanimous in their.
Listen. I trust their regular controllers. They are fantastic. When they put these out, I buy them, right? But I will never buy another Xbox Elite controller. And what about it's just not going to happen.
The headsets are also questionable. So,
those are.
Well, actually, the Starfield variant of that headset is still pretty decent. The OG version was absolutely garbage. It was actually.
Well, I got two things. All right, before we started roasting Kay.
Y'all keep roasting me. Go ahead. See, enjoy yourself.
I'm never getting the invite to Gamer's Playground again.
But this is what I'll say. All right, and I'm saving you from this roast, by the way. All right, like a turkey. All right, so what I was gonna tell you was, all right, Kay, I got good news for you. The good news is you could probably find a replacement shell really easy on Amazon. I've seen them on sale there, and then you can just do your thing. This is the point, right? If I felt so inclined that this thing perturbed me to a point where I needed to replace the shell, I would. But I have like a million controllers, so it's like, this one for now. This one is being held up by Black Panther, and the rest of them are getting used. I got it. I wish Asus got that benefit of the doubt. So when
when I have 15 computers lying around, and then I hit the power button to the one I need, and it doesn't work, maybe they will get the benefit of the doubt. But I didn't. So calm down. Let's go.
Everborn, let me ask you this question. That was going to be my second question with your project here. Obviously, this is a variant of a certain of the ROG Ally. for you, right? Because you're building this for a reason, for purposes. What are you hoping to get out of the experience in your living room? Because are you looking just to play indie titles here at 1080p? Are you going to be hooked up to a 4K TV? Like, what's going to be your kind of usability here?
It will be hooked up to a 4K TV, OLED, LG CX, 65 inch. But I'm expecting 1080p 60-ish. So here's the thing. I use my ROG Ally X a lot. And so as long as this thing is playing, and I use it for everything, right? I was playing Black Myth Wukong on there. Now, I'm not saying that will translate to looking well on a big 65-inch TV running at 1080p or whatever. But what I am saying is this is more of a proof of concept, because I've really wanted to try. Because right now, like, I have the 4090 connected to the TV in the bedroom, but that's still running Windows because Bazzite doesn't play nice with NVIDIA GPUs yet, right? So this was a way for me to say, what is it like just running Steam OS under the TV?
No real Linux distro runs nicely with NVIDIA. It's a problem with Linux and NVIDIA fundamentally. But yes, continue.
Yeah. So you know, and there's no way I was going to put Linux on the 4090, but I did want to see what this was like. And again, I have a lot of experience with the Steam Deck, and I love that experience because I'm a monogamous launcher user. So I'm not really worried about the launcher, the things that I could be doing outside of Steam, because that's where I buy all my PC stuff. So I say this to say, can this be used as a 1080p console for under $500? You know, where, you know, I get all the control that living in the Steam ecosystem offers me.
So, AK, and this is for you now. So I'm assuming that when he installs Bazzite, right? I'm assuming that when he wants, like, let's say he launches a certain game that maybe he needs to tweak a little bit. I'm assuming that Bazzite, just like the Steam Deck, is going to give him options like turn on RSR, upscale it, FSR. Do you want to use this? It's going to have all those bells and whistles for him to be able to kind of manipulate and kind of get that image quality that he wants, correct?
From what I understand,
Bazzite is literally Steam Deck. It's literally Steam Deck. So there's Proton updates there. There's FSR updates there. There's RSR updates there. Anything Steam Deck does today that works well within the AMD.
TDP control, you have to control that from your BIOS.
That's a different conversation. Yeah, that's a different conversation. TDP control is a fundamental.
Well, I mean, it works on handhelds with Bazzite, but on a setup like this, the TDP control.
And I mean, you can have that cranked up all the way all the time, so that doesn't really matter.
That's the point, right? TDP doesn't matter. Just set it to 65 and move forward, right?
All the time, yeah.
Yes, and then see what I would do, and this is probably more talk about when we're doing the actual fundamentals of the upgrade. What I would do is set the actual TDP to 65 and then use other software, third-party software internally to control how much of that TDP is used per game, so you don't be having your fan curve spinning ridiculously all the time for needless power, right? So because the fundamentals of the ground changes, because you're not talking about a handheld that's burning through battery life, it's just plugged in. So you don't even need to worry about that. The actual thing that you would have to worry about is fan speed and how loud that gets, depending on if it's like, you know, cranking really fast because it's always crunching through 65 watts of TDP. You don't want that either. So that's where you may want to fan control it a little bit, you know. But no, I think it's very doable. Right, the processing power, everything is doable.
I want to talk about this one other thing, which is the reason I again, you see, you can get you don't have to get the one that is this expensive. I got this one because I'm told this is the more
love when this man uses my talking point, because remember I was saying this to him when he first fundamentally went the route of the big old 4090. You could have got one of these things first.
No, I couldn't, because I wanted the 4090. I wanted to have that console experience on the best, with the best graphics you could get. That was one of the.
He didn't want to crawl. He wanted to run from the beginning.
He wanted to fly before he could go back and crawl later.
Yeah, I didn't want to feel like I was losing anything. And so that's why I went for that. But now that I've had that, this is like somebody like, you know,
he read
the lottery,
he read the last
or
page
becoming a
first,
millionaire,
and now he's going back to the front page,
and then telling you money's not important.
That's right.
Like you got a supermodel telling you, "Oh, looks aren't everything." All right,
yeah, sure.
Shut up. Nobody wants to hear
exactly.
That.
Exactly.
The point is, the point is, you like I said, you don't have to get the $500 model. You can get the $400 model. It is just that this is the exact
I got something
brand
for you
that all these guys reviewed. So I said, let me go with that.
I got something for you.
Same APU, and you can get this in the 400s.
I got something for you that I think you're
350 if you want 16 gigs of memory. By the way, you can get this. You get this. This will start not 350, 379. You can get in here. Same thing as your ROG Ally. 16 gigs. 379.
So Mr. Everborn Saga, I think you might also benefit from something like this.
There you go.
Well,
I'm gonna tell you.
Actually, I'd like you to go to the B-Link website. I want to show you something very cool.
While you go doing that, hold on. While you go doing that, before we get there, one more thing that you can do in the meantime, before you get these boxes and these things, right? One more thing. Before you make this plunge, have you ever considered running Moonlight and streaming your 4090 to this thing, to your living room?
I have not, but I haven't tried that on the ROG Ally either. So these are things that are on my list.
Oh, wait until you see those results.
All right. Now look at what's on the screen right there. Look at this docking setup they have.
See, the problem with this docking setup, the problem with this is, first off, no one gets the reference design. What you're looking at there is the 40 series reference design. They're very hard to find, but no one gets those. What you get is the normal cards, and those have literally exposed spinning blades everywhere. You don't want this sitting like this in your living room.
Well, I have that sitting. I actually have a 4070 Super, sort of that right now. And
also, does it have the reference design?
It does.
This reference design? Okay.
And I'm gonna tell you, the way that I have it set up, it really, I just dock my handhelds there, and it hasn't been a problem until now.
So an externally exposed graphics card just sitting there in your living room.
I'll send you a picture after the show. Yes, sir.
So
do you have a child running around all the time?
I do not. So
that may be why, but okay.
Yeah. Now, what's super interesting about these things, the B-Links, they have a PCI slot that you can open at the bottom, and you push it right in to that. So this is not like so
this would be a direct connect for the B-Link. Yeah. So it would be like a PCIe, a PCI Express slot. Okay. So, that's how they get around not having an
bottom and you push it in. Yeah. So
that's how they get around.
That's why it's saying it's a lossless connection. Yeah.
Okay.
It's super like this. If this thing plays out, this might be my next move. Now, what I don't know if I have to get a specific brand to a specific model to work with this, or will the SER7 work with it?
Let's see if there's any kind of details here.
Here's the next question. If you do get
we're not there yet, but people, this is just the.
And here's the next question. Here's the next question, though. Obviously, from everything that we've talked about previously, you will not be able to get an NVIDIA GPU. It would have to be a AMD GPU, correct?
Yes, this is you'd have to live in
that is if I'm going Bazite. Now, this one that they're showing is running Windows, and it's running. I think that one is running like an Intel.
Well, no, but this graphics card is definitely an NVIDIA card, right?
Yeah.
If you were running Bazite, you wouldn't want to do this because they wouldn't play nicely together.
You're right. So you would need an AMD card.
You'd need an AMD card, which doesn't look like this. Let me tell you, it's exposed, and fans everywhere.
I mean, like how you just got exposed about.
You calm down, bro. You calm down, please.
I can smell the Keasanti in the air.
Oh yeah. Smell the emotional. Yeah. Y'all emotionals have a scent. It's fine. Go ahead. Yes.
By the way, join us on Discord if you enjoy these roastings. I get roasted regularly.
Sure.
All right. Let me show the audience one more thing, completely unrelated, but since we're doing the tech talk here. I wanted to talk a little bit about my my journey that I got going on here with.
Oh, you want to talk about the whole leaving the rotten apples behind? Understood.
Dude,
okay,
that
let's
is
talk about
thin.
the rotten apples.
Wow.
Right. Yeah. Now this is an iPhone 15 Pro Max, and this is the new Google Pixel 9 Pro Fold. What a dumbass name. Okay, sorry. But so my wife has the Z Fold 6, right? And I was playing around with that, but I couldn't get into it because the aspect ratio when the screen is closed made everything so narrow, right? So I always knew I was using a foldable. What was so interesting to me about this is that if you see here, you don't sacrifice the aspect ratio, which means your apps are going to look the way you expect them to look. That's right. Yeah. This you don't know that it is a foldable until you want it to be a foldable. And with the Z Fold, you always knew you were using a foldable when it was closed. Now, there are benefits to that because it's very good for one-handed use. And so they're doing it on purpose. It's not like a design flaw. But this is very purposefully saying,
oh,
it's a phone first.
Read that, Everborn. You got a supporter.
Oh, yeah.
There's levels to this, baby.
Doc, when are you coming on one of these shows, man? We've been trying to get you on GCP. We need to get you back over here.
He's been on the show for once or twice. We should definitely have him back. Absolutely. Yeah.
So what was important here was that this is a phone first, but when you need it, it's a tablet.
Yeah.
And that is what makes this work. It's just as thin.
Have you played GeForce on that yet?
I have not tried GeForce Now.
That would have been the first thing I did with that sucker.
So the build quality is really nice. I mean, I'm not going to put it to the test. I haven't done any extensive camera work yet, but like the only thing is, obviously it has wireless charging, but it doesn't have the MagSafe because that requires Qi 2.0, which a lot of phones don't have yet. So that's the only issue that I've seen, that I have to get now new chargers for this because I use MagSafe for everything in the car, next to bed, whatever.
Let me just say real fast to Game Tech Talk. Game Tech Talk, I would try to send you a message on Twitter today, brother, but I couldn't for some reason. If you can, send me a message, John Wolf, and that way I can respond to you because I want to send you an invite to one of our shows, please.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Doc Dark with some feedback. They won't listen to me, but can you gentlemen tell people to stop comparing a console to a PC? And yes, I would love to come on. Just busy, brothers. Doc Dark, anytime. Our door is always open. So
Doc Dark, the first thing I do is always try to dissuade people from comparing consoles to PCs, even the cloud.
Yeah, but
I think a console is a different thing than a PC. It just is.
But Cerny is saying that you won't have to choose between fidelity and frame
rate. Which is also hogwash. Right? Consoles and PCs are two different environments. They require two different knowledge sets. Don't compare consoles to PCs. Even in the cloud. GeForce should not be compared to Game Pass.
xCloud.
They're two different, but please continue.
Last thing, this is the new Pixel Watch 3.
Oh, man, just showing off now.
Oh, so, you see, this is what he's doing. He came here to just like, to show off his
No. But the point is, there's a reason to this, right? So one of the things that has held me up from switching to Android for many years is I would have to stop using my Apple Watch, which I use a lot, right? And so the Pixel Watch finally had the 45 millimeter option. That's besides the fact that if you order one of these, they give you a 350 credit, which is the price of a Pixel Watch. So kind of works out, right? And so the Apple ecosystem kind of keeps you in it. And I like that Pixel is trying to recreate that, from the watch to the headphones to the
So one last, and this is from my Android lovers in the crew. One last piece of the puzzle that they did. As you can see, they're calling the name of Apple users. The last piece of the puzzle that they did, which I, as a staunch Android user,
I know what you're about to say.
Oh yeah, you do. One last thing they did that really upset me. But
that upset you. Okay.
Yes, it really upset me. They are stopping the ability to sideload apps into Android.
Oh wow!
Ooh,
they're turning Android into iOS. Stopping you from side. I was just like, no.
I feel like the real blame there, and it's not really his fault, but the impetus for that was actually this guy, the Fortnite guy. What's his name?
Oh yeah, you're talking about oh man, I can't. I'm flipping.
I don't know why his name escapes me.
Yeah, dude, the programmer. Yes, I know who you're talking about. So
yeah,
I know. Hold on,
Epic, like it's the Epic lawsuit, and they're trying to combat that. But why can't I think of Tim Sweeney?
Tim Sweeney. There you go. I am going to stand up for my co-host Kay Asante right now. Okay. I'm going to stand up for you. I'm going to roast everyone a little bit, okay?
Oh, so check boy, what's going on?
The real reason, everyone, that you switched to Android and you gave it a chance is because Xbox, since they disappointed you and you made the switch to PC, they opened your eyes and they made you say, you know what, maybe it's not so bad on the other side. And finally, since you made the switch to Steam and you saw how glorious it is, you said, you know what, maybe I should play in these waters over here because it might be glorious too. Am I right or am I wrong? Okay,
you are absolutely you're wrong. And Kay Asante knows the real reason for this switch was that the EU, shout out to Margaret Vestager, actually got Apple to support RCS. So so now I know that being on Android won't ruin everyone's text messages.
All right. Yeah.
So
when
everyone gets
it will when it's still a group call because they still don't support
So fun fact about that, they actually do support the group stuff.
They are doing now?
Yes. What the issue was, and I should have put 2 and 2 together, is that I was in a group chat with my phone that is on the beta, which supports RCS, and the other iPhone people were in the group chat and they didn't have
Yes. So everyone in the group chat have to support the same protocol in order for it to work across.
Yes. Yeah. So that's what. So it's not that they weren't supporting group chats. It was that the other people's.
It's that every members of the group must also have RCS in order for.
Right.
Now,
but they'll all update.
They'll still show you the ugly yellow, the ugly green bubble versus blue bubble.
Oh, look at this green bubble guy.
I know, but it'll tell you RCS versus SMS.
Yeah, I can't believe that's a thing, guys. That is ridiculous.
Right?
But it's not just that it's green. It's the like you can't send pictures without it being terrible. It's just all these things.
My wife sends me a video. I'm like, where did you send this from? 1997's camera? Like, what are we doing? Right?
Right. This is what I'm saying, right? So it's that, and you get the read receipts and the tap back. So it's important. The only thing is unless you're using WhatsApp. There's not like a quick solution from a regular phone call to go right into a video call.
Which, funny enough, even though WhatsApp was the common denominator, common solution, which also happens to be like the message app of choice in the UK and in the EU, and
everywhere in the world except the US,
except here. But they fundamentally still ended up solving America's RCS sabotage problem for them, even though they basically use WhatsApp. It's hilarious.
We're down bad in this episode. Everborn switching to Android, Asante being roasted, and me being exposed for $700 stellar yams.
You know, it's bad, folks. It's just so funny. You know, Kay always says you hang around with dogs and you catch fleas. When we first started these shows, I was a staunch console guy. I didn't want to hear nothing about the PC. You couldn't tell me nothing about.
And now I have
spreadsheets.
Still is
my desk and one in my.
That's why we're CEG. But anyway,
it's for spreadsheets. I'm just gonna be here chilling right now. Go ahead.
You couldn't tell me anything about Android. You couldn't tell me anything about PC, and now look at you.
And now look at you. Guess what? You're enlightened, right? Mm-hmm. When people are talking about, I didn't get my 60 frames. You're like this.
Yep.
Please. No, that's me scratching the fleas that you sent over. So
I lost my headset. I have to reconnect. Please continue.
Okay. We'll continue.
John Wolf.
We'll continue here. So yeah, I mean, we're coming down. We're winding down to 2 hours, everyone. We usually go on about an hour and a half, so we went over a little bit to kind of cover these topics. Kay, unless you got another topic, I think we can get started, man.
Well, Dip Down Anime. By the way, that name tells me, and we got 633 people watching. I think we should talk about the Kickstarter again. But Dip Down Anime says ROG or Steam Deck, having a hard time deciding.
That is a very easy deciding point. The question is, are you an Xbox faithful? Because the answer to that question will depend staunchly on how much of an Xbox loyalist you are. Are you a Game Pass user? Because that determines a lot. If you are, and you're not like Everborn Frivolous Purchase Saga, and you don't want to rebuy games that get added to your subscription service, then I would say ROG Ally all day. Because can you do it on the deck? Yes, you can. It requires more work than you want to deal with. You have Game Pass Ultimate, yes. Go either ROG, go with any of the Windows handheld devices that are out there that you're comfortable with, because you definitely want to have that as an option.
If Game Pass is a thing for you and you want to play those games, I'm gonna recommend the Ally X specifically. I know you can get the OG Ally for a little bit cheaper now, but I totally empathize with people that say I have an Ally, so it's not worth me spending $700 to upgrade to. It's actually close to the PS5 Pro conversation that we were just having, but neither here nor there. I understand people that say that, right? But if you don't have one of these things and you're getting in, I just think, can you get other devices with other specs and other screen sizes? But I think that the ROG Ally X is as an all-around device in terms of obviously battery life. They're doing very well by updating it constantly. It has a very premium feel. I'd argue it feels a lot more premium than the OG Ally. So if this is your starting point, I would, and you need Xbox, I would definitely go with the Ally X. Now, one thing I will say, and again, I'm only speaking for me now. I'm not telling anybody else to do anything else. I found that once I went to Windows across the Ally and the 4090 in the bedroom or whatever, I found that even though I had access to a lot of things on Game Pass for PC, a lot of the times those Game Pass games would run worse than their Steam equivalents, right? Sometimes they wouldn't even launch. And so I found myself playing a game that I had access to on Game Pass. I found myself buying it on Steam, just because that's where you had all the upscaling features. That's where that's where the updates came faster. So I find myself, because of, and again, I want to be very clear, they're doing some very good work on the Xbox app, but there's still a long ways to go. And I find myself gravitating more towards staying in big picture mode. And so a lot of the times I will just buy a game. Now, I'm not going to go buy a $70 game that I can get in Game Pass, but like these other smaller indie stuff, I usually just end up buying them and playing them in Steam.
What you're describing that happened to you, and what I see Doc Dark posting that he wants to buy his Xbox games on Steam, is exactly the journey I went through a few years ago when me and Kay started this show, that I found myself being kind of pushed to Steam more and more and building my library more and more because of those little nuances that you're talking about. I remember the day that I said, that's it, I'm not putting up with this no more, which was I was trying to play Doom Eternal one afternoon after work through Game Pass, through the Game Pass app. It would not launch for the life of me, and all I wanted to do was play a game. So I saw it, just coincidentally happens that game was on sale for $9.99 on Steam. And I said, for $10, why am I going through this headache? I paid the $10 and I was playing within the time that it downloaded, and I never looked back.
Which game was this?
Doom Eternal.
Doom Eternal.
Okay, right. And so for me, the thing that really pushed it, there's two games, right? There's a game that recent Game Pass games. There was Still Wakes the Deep. It was available on Game Pass. I get it on Game Pass. I load it up. I shout out to Doctor.
He's going through it right now because you know what it is. You're realizing that within that ecosystem of Steam, things just work. It just works.
Right, and you don't have time to what Lucius Augustus calls. You don't got time for tweaking and twerking. Right, you start the machine and go straight to big picture mode. That's it. You launch your games. But my example, because I know we got to get out of here now. But Still Wakes the Deep. It doesn't have. I don't know if it has it now, but I'm trying to play the game and I realize there's no option for upscaling. No DLSS, no FSR. Just didn't have it. And then
remember, it's because they were still optimizing it, and of course on Steam. It's a quick thing, quick update. Whereas on
also
console,
remember that is not my problem.
Ain't nobody.
Of course not. Of course not. Yes. Well, see, but you don't have to explain it that way. I'm not telling you I'm not asking you to be okay with it. I'm just telling you why.
No, that's okay. So, but what I'm saying is, and then the game actually had like bugs to where when you pause the game, navigation no longer works. So you can only unpause it, but the directional pads and the joysticks don't work in the pause menu. And so you gotta actually go to the task manager and kill the game, right? And so I just got so frustrated with this. I went to CD Keys. It was on sale. I get it there because I was talking to other people that had it on Steam. They said they didn't have any problems. So I go and buy it on Steam. The game launches right away. The game has DLSS options. The game doesn't have that weird pause menu bug. And so the message that I get from Xbox is deal with this because it's cheap. Right? So just deal with the bugs. Deal with the game made.
And now we're back to being emotional.
No,
it's not about being emotional, right?
There is some of that.
So why? Because it's in the subscription service, I should accept that these things have issues.
$9.99.
No, that's not being emotional.
No.
Like every time there's a
now who's triggered,
what they're
sir?
doing. No, wait a minute. Every time there's a criticism to a thing that they need to fix.
Why am I being emotional?
Yeah.
Look, let me tell you why I call you emotional, because it triggers you oh so much. That's what I do.
Listen, we're giving you all these games for $9.99. Take it. That's what they tell you.
No, look, it's not because it's take it. It's because now, today, the certification program is like climbing a freaking mountain. And they haven't separated it from the console side yet, which is stupid on their part. Absolutely. You want to buy it elsewhere? Buy it elsewhere.
Right.
What's the problem?
They're supposed to be customer obsessed. I'm explaining a customer journey, and I'm seeing people in the chat that are having the same experience. So if something in their onboarding process to PC is funneling people to another ecosystem,
they should be fixing it. Absolutely,
these things need to be talked about.
And don't get me wrong. I'm not saying what you're doing is fundamentally broken. I'm saying walk with use your wallet, right? Buy elsewhere, and that will change those minds. It's the only option you have.
And the other game was Path of the Goddess, right? That was available on Game Pass. Now you tell me that they were having some like issues that day, but it was days.
Okay.
Days.
The day I tried it was like that. Yeah.
Right. There were days straight, like 3 days straight.
See, it's like they're in the woods. Like I may not even see them in the chat. I may not even hear any retort of anything they say. But the minute I say emotional, two things will happen. One, Everborn Saga will lose his stack, and Lucius Augustus will have some slander. It's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing. This is why I continue on my slander of my emotional journey, because I just need to spend a moment.
Look, Doc Dark. Oh my God, that's a great Xbox movie. It's the truth. I mean,
the truth, shame the devil.
They literally did. They pushed me that way because they couldn't get their house.
You say Xbox is the gateway drug to Steam?
Exactly.
So, ladies and gentlemen, before we get out of here, before we get out of here, last quick thing I want to show you, because people who know that I've been playing on this thing. And by the way, Game Tech Talk, I need to talk to you, man. I'm having some creative blocks. I have all of the review done. I just cannot hit the button to submit. I don't know why I can't do it. It is what it is. Yeah, we could talk about that in the DM. But before we go, people have asked pretty frequently, hey, how much is this? Where can I get this? Blah, blah, blah. Guess what? It is now on Amazon. You can literally go to Amazon and buy the Mini. Now, it's considerably more expensive on Amazon, though, because you're paying $1,000, almost $1,100 for it on Amazon.
Okay.
But it is available on Amazon. And what that also means is you also get Assurion complete coverage. So you can get basically the warranty fully covered as part of your subscription as to buy this. So if you don't want to go and spend all your money, to a weird place, you can totally buy it on Amazon if you feel so inclined.
Yeah, everyone's holding something in.
No, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna save it. We'll save it for the DM. We'll save it for the Discord.
Okay. Let's push people that way.
But yeah. So what we want though is, because I think even Doc and Lucius Augustus would stand with me here.
Okay.
What we want is, if console is just an endpoint and Xbox is more than that.
We're still talking about the endpoints and the consoles, man. I thought we were getting out of here.
We are. This is the closing statement.
Go ahead.
If console is just an endpoint, then let's get the other endpoints up to snuff so that they can compete and you feel like a first-class citizen somewhere. Now, can we talk about the Kickstarter and then we can get out of here?
Of course.
Well, okay. So make your case one last time why they should spend their time and their hard-earned money on the emotional creator that is the Everborn Saga.
No shortcuts taken here, people. No $9.99. Deal with it.
There you go. Yes. So let me put the site back up. And you're showing you're showing the amount of So let's start here first. Go ahead, Solo. There you go.
We are still waiting on chapter 2 to come through in the prints. That's coming through towards the end of the month. But these are the books we've released so far. So we are up to Ariel's Adventure chapter 2. This is the Prince of Arcadia series. We've done 4 chapters of this already. We've bundled them together. So this is chapters 1 and 2. This is chapters 3 and 4. This makes the Battle at Wildwood Gate arc. Then we've got our sister series, The Redlands, which takes place to the east of Arcadia. It follows Princess Isis Amun, who moonlights as a bandit named Karma, who is stealing from the crown by night and living with the royals by day. And it's more of a heist genre. And then that brings us to Ariel's Adventure, and that's where we are with the Kickstarter now. Now, the whole point of this was to tell stories from an independent perspective, because I see so much in comics these days. There's either like super heavy-handed messaging or this sort of rage economy where people are just like, that anti-woke crowd, whatever. And I wanted to tell a story that is away from all of that and just focuses on quality storytelling, quality art. And that's what we try to do here. And I try to sort of involve the community in what we're doing. So, and the whole goal was, can an indie make something that could stand right next to the majors? And that's what we're attempting to do here. We are sort of blending Western comics with manga. That's the style we go for here. And so we've been doing this since 2019, and this is all based off of a video game that I released in 2015 on the Windows Phone exclusively. And when the Windows Phone went away, I had so much notes for what I was working on for the sequel that I turned it into these comics here. And so now we've got a whole universe that's its own thing now. And yeah, this is all written by me. Yeah, so this is the beginning of what I hope to be the next major franchise in comics and movies. We've worked on some animations. We've got more games coming. I really think you guys should check this out. We are just over 68% funded. We're almost there. We've got 21 days left. And if you there's some really cool add-ons. By the way, I'm wearing one of the add-ons here. This is the Berserk inspired Everborn shirt.
That looks fresh.
By Adidas. I don't know if you can see that there. We've got a lot of other add-ons from Adidas, Hanes, Fruit of the Loom, American Apparel. We've got like the wall art that you see behind me. You can get that. Those are on offer as well. And just to walk you through a little bit of the tiers, we've got the Theros tier. Is if you're new to this, I would recommend that one because it allows you to get all the books that we've released so far. That's everything you see here, plus Arrow's Adventure Chapter 2. They all come signed. That ships anywhere in the world. The Rightful Heir is the same thing, but it also comes with a t-shirt and like the wall art that you see behind me.
That is the one that I have backed. The Rightful Heir. I backed this.
As you should. As you should.
Okay.
But I think Rightful Heir is probably the best value in terms of what you get, because like that shirt is like $30. And so and we kind of throw that and the poster, which is $20, we throw that in there only for an extra $15. So if you were looking at the Theros tier, also I want to say, if you have this book, because I know some of you do, we actually put bonus content in this book for the hardcover print. So this is the first time we're doing a hardcover for this, and it has a lot of this bonus content with the backstory for some of these characters here. And here's another fun fact, because all these books are connected. The story of Prince of Arcadia is the story of these two princes. His father is king, his father was king, and he wants to take his birthright back and take the throne. This is Baltimore Blackwind. That is Godwin Payne. This Baltimore is the same Baltimore 30 years later in Ariel's adventure. So how did this prince end up living in hiding, raising this kid, is what you'll have to read on to find out. So like I say, they are all connected. This is the Hobbit to this is the Fellowship of the Ring, right? That's how we like to think of it. So check it out. Here's some of the pages. When I'm not joking when I tell you we leveled up quality. Keep scrolling down. Look, show them some of that. Show them some of this goodness.
Very nice.
Yeah, that's Rhaegal. He's the chieftain of the Wolf Colony. You've got Baltimore. By the way, that right there, that's Pixelbit G. You guys know him. He supported the first campaign, and so we threw him in the book. And like I said, it's not just walk-on roles. We make you a powerful, important character when you show up.
I know Doc Dark is gonna pledge right now. He wants to be in this book, and he's gonna get a stand for his books. Right, Everborn?
Absolutely. Right, and we also have just like some other cool add-ons like phone cases for the iPhone and things like that. So
you mean phone cases for not real phones? Yeah.
There you go.
Talk to me when you got a phone case for the Galaxy S20 24 Ultra.
With the nonsense.
Yeah, with the nonsense.
Yeah. Here, these are some of the tiers. They kind of show you what you get in there. So check out the campaign. We are almost there, and I promise you, I have some very interesting things set up for stretch goals, but we're going to announce those when we hit our main goal. But those are going to be very fun. Some of them are going to be video game related. So nice. Let's try to get this over the line. We got 21 days left. They will.
So we have 678 people right now watching us on various platforms, with the bulk of it coming from my X account. If you are watching from No. I'm just
Definitely
explaining.
a humble brag.
If you're watching from my X account, I will now share a post that points you to the Everborn Saga Kickstarter campaign. How about you go ahead and you click that link real quick and then back this Kickstarter campaign, because man, oh man, this is great content, and you want to support the brother.
The lowest Everborn, just real fast, and even if if right now we're living in a tough time, that PS5 Pro's coming and everybody's saving up, the lowest tier gets you the digital version, right? Everborn, so you guys can still support in that way.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
So the first 2 tiers are both digital only. The first one will get you Ariel's Adventure Part 1 and 2. So you can, if you only want to follow Ariel's story, you can do that with that first tier. The second tier is all the books in digital.
There you go.
And every tier after that includes whatever was in the previous tier. So if you now go and you go for the Promise tier or Adventurer tier, you're gonna get the physical books as well as digital copies, and you'll get those like right away. So like I said, another big thing with this book is having the community involved, because I feel like a lot of us kind of, if anybody's like me anyway, there's stories that we would love to be tell ourselves, or stories we'd love to be involved in, and none of this happens without the community. So that's why we, like I said, try to put the characters in. But this is Gamer MD from the community. This was his character, right?
There you go.
And we do these things like we put the names in the books of the supporters of the campaigns, right? We do it when we can, just depending on when we go to print, but like this, it really is about you guys, right? Let's get this thing over the top, man.
Appreciate y'all so much for watching today. All the people watching on X, all the people watching on the YouTube channel, thank you so much. If you haven't already, please hit that like button. We do this every week. Myself, Mr. John Wolf, we come here and we just talk tech. Sometimes we talk gaming. We always talk gaming, but I mean, sometimes we talk handheld consoles. We talk old consoles that we've had. We talk about some interesting things happening in the world of PC gaming, or some interesting things that are going on right now, whether it's saving you a buck or how to do something you want to have done. If you guys ever have any questions, you can always reach out to us in the DMs. Some weird thing you want to accomplish that you haven't been able to, maybe we can help you with that. Or maybe you can teach us something. We're always looking to learn and grow and get better at it. So thank you guys so much for checking out the content. Again, if you haven't hit that like button, it's free. It's right below, right there. You can go ahead and hit that button, and the algorithm will appreciate you for assisting us. Thank you so much. Mr. Everborn Saga, we'll start with you first, since you are our guest, sir. Where can people keep up with the rest of your ongoings? I know the campaign has still got 21 days live. I hope more people check out the content. I hope more people check out and back and support your stuff. Where can people strike conversations with you and reach out to you and talk games if need be?
You can find me on Kickstarter at Everborn.
Hey.
That's the number one place to find me for the next 21 days.
There you
go. There you go. Excellent. How about you, Mr. Wolf? What is going down? What you going to be doing with yourself? How can people keep up with you?
Yeah. Okay. So we got a big week. PC gamers, we got 2 big games coming out, Final Fantasy 16 and God of War Ragnarok. So I'm sure all of us are going to get our hands on that sometime this week. Also, next week, we got a big show coming, 50 episodes in. It's our 50th episode.
Yeah.
I'm already talking to a couple of peeps in the background so that they can join us for that special episode. We'll be again. Oh, that's I mean, like I said, there are certain individuals that you don't even gotta ask. You just come on. All right, you're one of them. Doc Dark is another. So and of course that goes to everybody in our DM. So so hit me up, guys, on Steam, Xbox, PlayStation, John Wolf, exactly how you see it there. X, and we'll be back next week.
As for me, you can catch me on Double Barrel Gaming, Primetime Gaming on this Wednesday. Tomorrow, which will be Tuesday, I will be dropping an embargo. Will be lifting on a game that I've been excited about. Now I've just written my review for it. I may even drop a video. I haven't done anything about it, but I might spend the rest of the day just working on a video for it. But yes, come check out the channel. Check out the gamingcircle.com, because I'll definitely be posting my review article for something fun and something that I believe really should get some attention to it. So you guys should come and check that out. Obviously, we're moving and shaking in many different ways, trying to get more reviews on the channel, trying to get more stuff that you guys can read and come check out. So thank you so very much. Yes, Everborn Saga should write about his Kickstarter and put it on the gamercircle.com. What an interesting idea, Lucius. Maybe one day Mr. Everborn Saga will do that. And
maybe one day I'll update my bio on there. Like I've been making a lot of promises.
Yeah. That's right. But no, thank you guys so much for checking us out. Thanks for checking out the content. Hit the like button on the way out if you haven't done so already. Consider subscribing if you are new here. If you choose to be a member, we appreciate you. Members power this show more than you know. If and when you see Mr. K. Asante running around here with a PS5 Pro, it's probably because the members facilitated that one, because there's no way I'm doing it without it, I suspect. But needless to say, it's been a great time. Yeah, that's too rich for my blood right now. Nope. Needless to say, thank you guys so much for being here. And we'll see y'all next week. Peace.
Peace.